Hello Aries, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your connection between you and the person that you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. We'll be pulling for all three sides of it, so look at your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section will be looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. On that note, and especially if you're a cross watcher, just know that this whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that is totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps and leave what doesn't. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Aries, let's jump on in here and see what we've got. We're going to start with looking at your side of this connection to the person you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. This is Aries energy toward the person they are dealing with. Solitude and reciprocity with connection. I get this energy of waiting on this person in some way, because the solitude energy makes me feel as if, especially combined with the reciprocity, I feel like you're waiting for reciprocation. It doesn't necessarily mean that the connection isn't together and that you're waiting on them, but that like you're wanting the same level of commitment and love and care and consistency or whatever it might be that you give. With this connection here, I do feel that you and this person have a deep connection. And I think that there is a lot of potential here, which maybe is why you're okay with this period that you're in with this person. But let's see what's going on with their side. Their energy toward you, Aries. Redacted. Okay. I get this feeling with Know Your Worth and Dead End. I get this feeling that this person isn't telling you everything. It's almost as if they're hiding something, certain truths. I don't know what it is. Maybe just holding back, like maybe how they really feel or the reason that they're not reciprocating, something of that nature. And this Know Your Worth card, I feel like, is an indication that the actions that this person are like currently taking in this connection, I feel like is coming from a place of insecurity, and almost like struggling to show up believing that they're deserving of love. However that shows up, I feel like determines on like your specific situation, but you know, not being vulnerable, not opening up, not being honest, like a lot of those things typically stem from insecurity. So I don't necessarily know where this is going, but I do feel that there's almost like something that you are unaware of, or I don't know, truth of this connection between Aries and this person. Whoa, okay. Triggered, boundaries, detachment, and connection. Okay. I feel like you've dealt with this person, their actions showing you as if they're very detached, almost like they don't care or they don't prioritize this connection as much as you. And I feel like you've really been feeling that, which is why you do have this reciprocity card. However, diving into this a little bit deeper, like with this triggered energy, I do feel like there is some mirroring here. So mirroring each other's insecurities, maybe a little bit of projection of those insecurities too. So, the first way we typically view anybody's behavior is through the lens of our fear and insecurity. It's like, oh, they did these things or they're not doing these things because they don't care about me, or they don't actually love me, or whatever the case is. I don't feel like that's the case. I don't feel like feelings are unrequited or anything like that. I just feel like there's something going on below the surface in this energy that's keeping this connection from being able to fully develop, and it's keeping you both in a very triggered state. So it's like, they're making certain decisions or not making certain decisions that are then triggering your insecurities. And then maybe those insecurities are causing you to distance yourself, which is then triggering this person's insecurity, which is making them distance or act a certain way, which is then triggering yours. And it's just like this back and forth here that I feel like you guys have been stuck in. But there is connection here, that's for sure. So I don't know. Let's see. Overall theme of this reading here for Aries. Because there is love here. There's genuine love coming from both sides. I don't feel like this is like this person's just faking feelings for you or anything like that. I feel like there's something else going on though. Overall theme of this reading for Aries, please. Sacrifices must be made. But you've made a lot of sacrifices in this connection, Aries. That's the thing that I'm kind of gathering from this. Yeah, because then there's the inconsistencies, and then you have this closure card. I feel like this is really difficult for a lot of different reasons, but the main thing is I feel like this person, the way that they act in this connection, I feel like goes very much against like how they really feel. And I feel like that. It's like that they care about you, that they love you, that they, want this connection to work. But then it's almost as if they act a very different way. And I think that keeps you stuck in this cycle of the waiting, right? Waiting for their actions to align with their feelings or to align with their words. And I feel like in that period, you've done a lot of sacrificing, right? So kind of sacrificing your needs or your desires or what you're wanting, waiting on this person to, get to the place that you want them to be. And I feel like there's a cycle here that Spirit is asking you to take a deeper look at so that it can be broken, because this cycle is keeping you from the love that you desire. And I see that with closure. And I'm not saying that you can't find it in this person, but I do definitely feel as if there's something else here. I don't know, though. I don't know. I keep saying there's something else here. I don't know what that something else is. But let's see, Aries side of this, reciprocity with solitude, Aries energy toward the person they are dealing with. This is Aries side of the connection. King of Wands. Could be dealing with another fire sign, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, but I don't see that as what this is saying. The King of Wands is all about confident and consistent effort and action to me. It's action taken from a place of confidence and like determination. And I feel like that's been a lot of how you've really shown up in this connection. I feel like the best word that I can describe is I feel like you're your decisions in this connection have been very intentional. Like you're making decisions to try to make this person feel good, to make them feel loved, to make the connection develop. It feels like there is very much an awareness here that you bring into this connection. And it's not just an awareness of like self, but like an awareness of how somebody else feels and maybe almost like anticipating this person's needs. And I feel like your focus has been so much on them and trying to make sure that they're happy and that they feel loved. And I think that you've done a really good job at that, but it also kind of feels like you're lacking what you are needing from this in return. Queen of Cups. This to me, so I saw the Queen of Cups with the King of Wands. Again, I feel like this is the energy you bring. It's this very like compassionate and caring and like, I got you and I'm here for you and I'll take care of you. Like this to me is the energy that you really present in this connection. It's very, very, it's very genuine. It's very warm. What else? Oh my goodness. Then you have the Queen of Pentacles. Okay. Knight of Swords in reverse. So here's where, because this doesn't feel like different people necessarily. This feels like almost a way that you present yourself in this connection. I feel like you are really good at being what this person needs you to be. If they need a listening ear, you're that. If they need, stability and, just reassurance or whatever, like you're that. If they need help, like you're there for them. Like you are so good at being whatever this person needs you to be. Where I feel that this starts to become an issue is that there's been this lack of being those things for yourself too. So it's almost like a little bit of self-abandonment has taken place in the process of trying to be whatever this person needs. And I feel like you're starting to really feel that, like your cup is starting to feel really drained and, maybe some resentment is building up or things just feel really frustrating for you because it feels like no matter how much you give and no matter how much you're there and no matter how much you prioritize this person and prioritize this connection, it just feels like you aren't a priority or like as much as you would want to be. And, I do feel that, and I said this from the very beginning, I do feel like there are very genuine feelings here coming from both sides. But I also feel like to you, there is something missing. Not necessarily that this person isn't enough, but that there's something in this connection that isn't fully aligning with what it is that you need. The Knight of Swords in reverse can sometimes be an energy of chasing where it's like, if I try really hard and if I pour myself into this person and if I have everything that they want me to be or need me to be or whatever, then maybe they will reciprocate. Maybe they'll give me the same. Maybe eventually, they'll show up for me. But it feels like you consistently experience this energy of not being shown up for. And I see that with solitude. I see it with the Four of Cups where it's like you're focused so much on how can I make sure that this person is happy that I'm going to be really honest with you here, Aries. I don't feel like you've taken some time to really ask whether or not you're happy. And not because I do feel like this person has the potential to make you happy, but more so like, are my needs being met? Like, do I feel taken care of in this? Do I feel just as supported as I am for this person? And, I think one of the things that I've really learned about healthy relationships is that there's one aspect of it that unhealthy relationships miss, and that is reciprocation. And it's not just reciprocation of feelings, it's reciprocation of effort, it's reciprocation of respect, it's reciprocation of consideration. Like all of these things that I feel like you so easily bring in this connection, I also feel like you're lacking. And I think that maybe this is typical for you in relationships. Maybe you have a tendency to give a lot more than you get, but I feel like it's starting to affect you as it would anybody. And I don't think that you should feel guilty for that. I think for a lot of people, we're really taught that, our needs don't matter or our desires don't matter or what we feel doesn't matter as long as somebody else is happy, or as long as somebody else feels good, or as long as somebody else feels loved. And a lot of us, especially women, have been taught that love equals self-sacrifice, that we must lose ourselves in the pursuit of making somebody else happy and feel good in a relationship in order to receive even an ounce of love in return. And I feel like that cycle shows up in a lot of different ways, but it does absolutely come up aggressively in romantic relationships, because that isn't, it's not sustainable, because eventually you're going to get to this point where you're going, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm drained, and I feel that, you're feeling very drained in this. And it's not that like you're done, and that's not what I'm saying, but I do definitely feel that this cycle is something that Spirit is trying to draw your attention to. But let's see what this person has going on. Know your worth with Redacted. Because like I said, I kind of get a lack of honesty here. The Fool, the Moon. Oh, this is Fool in reverse. Okay, with the Moon. Okay, Two of Pentacles in reverse with the Knight of Swords upright. The Empress, because they see you as this Empress. Like, they view you in a very, like, high regard is the right word, but like in a very good light. I feel like they see you as somebody they can rely on. They see you as somebody that, like, they can trust, that takes care of them, that is there for them. Like, they see you as all of the things that you want them to see you as. But then this Two of Pentacles in reverse indicates that they have, their priorities are out of balance. So even though they see you as all of the things that you want them to see you as, they're still not prioritizing this connection. And I'm trying to get clarity on this Two of Pentacles in reverse. Whoa. Oh. And this is exactly what I said. Their actions don't match their feelings. Ace of Wands, Ace of Cups. Their actions don't match their feelings. And then there's the World. So I think that that's the thing that's the most complicated about relationships, is that people can love us genuinely and truly. And I feel that here. I feel like the feelings are here, but not know how to love us well. Learning to love somebody well takes genuine effort and a willingness to grow beyond our own limitations. And it takes a lot of courage to be open to doing that, because any relationship, right, is going to trigger our shadow, trigger our insecurities, feelings around self-worth. And healthy relationships thrive when somebody is actually taking a look at the ways in which they show up and making sure that they are showing up in a way that's best for them and, in a way that aligns with the connection. And that's where healthy relationships are able to develop and be sustained, is when both people are showing up for themselves and that happens to align with what's right for the other person. And I feel like in this connection there, it's interesting because I feel like there is some abandonment coming from this person too. Maybe not directly, like maybe they're not like actually abandoning you. Maybe they are, I don't know. But emotionally, I feel this like emotional abandon or emotional like distance here, where it's almost as if this person is working overtime to try to keep some sort of distance between you and them. I mean, the Knight of Swords, they have it upright, you have it in reverse, right? It's very much about running. Yes, it can mean busy. Yeah, yes, it can mean somebody's busy and somebody's got a lot going on. But here's the thing that I've really learned is that even when somebody has a lot going on, you should still be a priority. And that doesn't mean that you're at the top of the list all the time, but it certainly means that you are feeling heard, seen, loved, and valued at least majority of the time. And what I'm talking about right now isn't oh, this person, for a couple of weeks has been really caught up in work, but then after that, it's going to be good. That's not what this feels like. This feels like the majority of the relationship, this person has always had something going on, something that they're prioritizing over you, something that they're focusing on, something that they're giving their energy to. And whenever it comes down to it, you're receiving a lot less than what it is that you deserve, because you're kind of getting whatever this person has left over when they've dealt with all of these other things. And at some point, we have to understand that there is a choice that is made whenever we are making priorities. Yes, work has to be a priority, and family, and like kids, and all these things. These things matter. They are priorities. Yes, 100%. But for a relationship to be sustained, both people need to be prioritizing the other person just as much, and especially not just when it's convenient, but especially when it's inconvenient. And I think in this connection, you have found yourself in a place of consistently being under prioritized by this person. And I think, and this is where I'm there's a little bit of a red flag here, with the redacted card of the moon. It's almost as if they use all of these other things as an excuse to keep you at a distance, because it is what feels the most comfortable to them. Emotional unavailability shows up in a lot of different forms, and one of the biggest things is doing things to keep somebody at a distance, to keep intimacy rare, or something that doesn't get too deep, like something that doesn't get too deep or too serious, because it's easier. When people are afraid of getting hurt, or they're afraid of their past repeating themselves, or they don't genuinely know how to open up to give and receive healthy love, then they are going to protect themselves from it. They're going to block it off. They're going to use certain techniques and decision making that keeps the connection in this almost like a limbo form, where it's like it's not everything it could be, but they also have all of these excuses as to why. And I think that and I said from the beginning that this is coming from a place of insecurity, right? I feel like this person carries a lot of deep-seated beliefs when it comes to their inadequacy. And this is interesting because I don't necessarily feel like you would know that about this person based on how they present themselves, but I do feel like they have some deep-seated insecurity. So in a way, it's almost like if I keep this person at a distance, then they'll never know that I'm not enough. Then they'll never know that I'm not good enough for love. They'll never know that I'm incapable of it, or whatever belief they might carry. So this protection mechanism of creating distance here is coming from a place of being afraid to be really seen, and to actually have like a deep, genuine connection. And I think that there's a need to, if this connection were to work, and I don't think that it's just like, oh, it's screwed and there's no hope, but if this were to get to a healthy place, this person would need to be willing to kind of recognize the way in which they do this, and to be open to growing beyond it, which might mean taking an honest look at themselves and the reasons why they carry some of these deep-seated fears and insecurities. Because again, there are genuine feelings here, but love isn't what you deserve, Aries. You don't just deserve somebody who loves you, right? You deserve somebody who shows up for that love, who prioritizes you, who chooses you, who makes you feel like a priority and like you are being chosen, and who does that majority of the time. Again, life happens, and no, you shouldn't, you're not going to be a priority in your partner's life, or your friend's life, or whatever, all the time. But when people genuinely care about you, they go out of their way to make space for you. And if you feel as if somebody isn't making space for you in their life, they might have all of these reasons why, but at the end of the day, it's a choice that they're making, and whatever reason is backing that, it's still very unfair to you. And I feel like that's a big thing that you're needing to kind of see here, is that yes, relationships do require sacrifice, absolutely, but they require mutual sacrifice, Aries. And here's the thing, you've been sacrificing left and right in this connection, right? This person hasn't been sacrificing as much. They're not, sacrificing other things so that they can spend more time with you or give you more time, energy, and attention. And I feel like there's a need to kind of break down what's going on here below the surface, and to see things in an honest way so that you can address this head on, instead of just kind of waiting for things to change. Because when we spend the majority of our time waiting on things to change, we sit in this place of not having what we need, of not feeling fulfilled or happy or secure or loved or valued or chosen. And that starts to affect us. It affects our nervous system. It affects the way that we start to perceive ourselves, and we start to, go, okay, well, maybe I'm not enough yet. Maybe I need to love this person harder. Maybe I need to show them that I'm worth it. Maybe I need to, whatever the case might be. And then when that doesn't work, because we can't change other people, you start to go, oh, maybe I'm not enough, or maybe I'm not good enough, or whatever the case is. So I do feel like there is, I do feel like this connection has the potential to build on itself, but I also feel like it would take both parties being willing to approach this from a place of honesty and a willingness to really listen beyond defensiveness, which is probably one of the hardest things to do in relationships, to allow, each person space to kind of process how they feel, but also feel validated in how they feel. Because if you're dealing with somebody who is emotionally mature, they should be able to look at this and be like, okay, yeah, I am pushing you away, or I'm not prioritizing you the way that I should, and I should really look at that. If you're dealing with somebody who's emotionally immature, they're going to say, oh, you're too needy. You're asking for too much. You're making me feel guilty, and that's not fair, whatever the case might be. But holding people accountable for the way that they've made you feel is not something you should feel guilty for. And I think that in this specific connection, there's a need for you to stand your ground a little bit when it does come to like what you deserve and how you deserve to feel. I'm going to hop on over to the extended You Have Detachment with Triggered. We're going to dive deeper into this, looking at the deeper purpose and the best way for you to move forward in alignment with your higher self. Any information for that is in the description box below. Thank you so much, Aries, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. Bye, Aries.